Hi guys. Hello. Hi guys. So I'm super excited to do this. This is one of my favorite books, gift books, book gifts. Okay, listen. So this book I found. The very first time I saw this book, I was in the catalog, Victorian Trading Co. And I keep starting these video reviews, and I'm glad that I'm doing it live this time so I can't take these backsies. Isn't this just a gorgeous book? It's so pretty on the outside, but then look, once you open it, bright red, and we know what that color is about now, right? That's your channel color, source color. And it's very artistic. This is a fantastic book as a gift for any artist that you might know, because they definitely took some extra love and care in this book. So let me explain what this book is. This book is like a sample recipe guide to the ancient ritualistic world of paganism. And chapter by chapter, we go through different cultures and locations around the world at their major points in history. And we help to clarify the idea of spells in general or ritualism in general by simplifying it chapter by chapter. So there's beautiful pictures in this book, and it gives you so much in-depth information on history without it being boring or bogging you down. There's two people in here. Ah, hi. I don't know if you've seen this book, but it's an amazing book and it's beautiful. And I just can't wait to tell more people about it, honestly. Hey, I got a thumbs up. Hi. Who are you? Tell me your name. Be welcome. So, one of my favorite things about this book actually is the very first thing that they do is they try to explain the picture of the image of the stereotypical witch. There's some right there. So the stereotypical witch, at least the way that it is in the US, is this woman who's very old, but she's more than just old. She's green. She's covered in boils and bumps, and she has this long nose, and she's sort of frightening looking, and she has a tall, pointed hat. So a lot of that is wrong, but and you might notice, especially this is a perfect picture with her with the Peter Pan collar. Can you guess what time period? What time period they started pushing this picture and this idea of the evil witch? So this came around about the same time as, well, I'm getting nervous. This traditional witch image is something that's it's gross and it's sad because, okay, it's actually taking the picture of a divine being, one of the goddesses, the goddess Hecate, who was known as the goddess of witches. And she's typified in different cultures as looking a little bit different in each culture. So looking a little bit more Grecian in ancient Greek cultures, a little bit more Roman in ancient Roman cultures, a little bit more Lithuanian in Lithuanian cultures. But generally, she has black or dark brown or red hair. It's very long. She's often depicted in three forms. So the babe, the maid, and the crone. And so here's a picture of that. And it's not the idea that there's only one, but that there's all three. It's the whole woman. Uh, you know, you're the babe, then you're the maid, then you're the crone. And the crone was never meant to be scary. The crone was meant to be wise, because she is wise. She's been the babe and the maid. She's run the gambit. She's seen it all. She's seeing more even now. And they took that idea and they turned it into something scary to help keep people in line. This was early Victorian times. And the hat, actually, both the hat and the collar is very typical of what most most people in early Victorian times were wearing. Specifically Britain, but then also in the US as well. And the reason why she's green, well, they tell you that in this book, so you should read this book. But it was all basically a way of scaring people off from going back to the old ways. The old ways being the pagan ways. Pagan actually just meant someone who follows the old ways. It's a word that was used as a sort of slang, like when someone calls another person a redneck. It was used to shame people. As the church, the Catholic Church, was trying to turn all these different indigenous cultures away from their original belief system, which was highly ritualistic, they used their own rituals. So they would take a ritual that was already inherent in this particular day or that particular holiday, and they would say, okay, everything about this is wrong, but here's how you can do it right. And actually, this is something you might want to look up. This isn't something that I believe they mention here in this book, but it's one of the reasons why this book is so great. And let's take a look at the pictures in this book. What? Here's one of the reasons why this book is so great. So a long time ago, a religious leader was sent to an area of Greater Britain, what would now be considered Greater Britain. And his job was very simple. It was to train the people who were there into Catholicism, to take them away from their way, to teach them a new way, and to make sure by all costs that they were turned and that they got rid of all their idols. They got rid of their rituals, even if those rituals were deeply embedded in their the way they survived every day, to get rid of it. And that would be very, very difficult because a lot of these people were farmers. It was a part of the way that they started the morning. The reason why they went to bed on certain days, it was a part of what they ate. Each day of the week actually is embedded with the name of different gods, right? Which you may or may not have known, but obviously Thursday, Third Day, Thor Day. But there's a different there's a different person who belongs to each day of the week. It's something that you'll understand a little bit better once you get into astrology, but basically has to do with the position of the stars and the planet on that particular day of the week. And that is actually why certain gods are said to rule over certain days, because it's actually more so that the stars are in a specific position on those particular days in uh, eh, in relation to your position on the planet at the time, the area of the planet, the country. But the point is, this book. So that man that the Catholic Church sent, he was supposed to actually stop people. Hey! Wow, someone's writing. Hey there. Oh, is that Hans? Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for writing in and for coming in. I'm so glad. I was just talking about basically the person who started Wicca. A lot of people don't know this, but Wicca, actually, the very first thing you have to do, the reason why I left Wicca, the most of the reason, he just wrote Hans here. Thank you so much, buddy. The main reason, I know you don't know this because we're still getting to know each other, but I used to be Wiccan. It was the first time that I tried a religion, and it really felt like it was something that might work for me. And eventually I realized that it couldn't, because it was more than just a way of living. It meant that I had to truly believe different things. And one of the first things I had to believe was to agree and believe and see God and Jesus Christ above a large pantheon of other deities. I couldn't do that. That was one of the reasons why I couldn't be Catholic. I tried Catholicism. I know it sounds really silly, right? Like I was trying food or something, but I was so convinced that the only way to fit in to the world was to find the right religion. And I think one of the things I finally figured out yesterday was something my mom used to always tell me. I know you didn't get to meet my mom, but one of the things my mom used to always tell me was maybe you don't need religion, and maybe you are a little bit different, and maybe that's fine because that's you. And it's like I finally just got it yesterday. So it's like cool. Like I was terrified to put up this video or any other videos. I reviewed this book so many times. I was terrified to review this book and to put it up because I thought, oh my God, one of my friends or one of my family friends, my family is extraordinarily religious on both sides, different religions. Jehovah's Witnesses on one side, Catholics on the other side, and some other religions besides. And they think this is straight up devil. And the truth is, it's not. So many of the different rituals in this book, for instance, these are all white spells as well, which is also kind of a Wiccan thing to say white spells. But also, I mean, most of them have to do with plants, trees. The first thing that's a part of any pagan belief system is to love and take joy in nature. There's one here that explains the maypole dance. I just love it so much. It just makes me so happy. I take this book with me most places. It's so great. And actually, this is one thing that I do totally agree with. And I know that you must understand this very much for you to be able to grow all the plants that you grow. The moon has such an effect on me, but it has such an effect on all of us. One day, I would love to hear uh, different things you guys might have noticed when making your plantings or your cuttings, just when you're taking care of your plants, how, if you've ever noticed, does it make a big difference for you guys when there's a full moon? I've noticed that when there's a full moon, I feel it the night before. Actually, I feel it more like 3 nights before. And I start watching, like it's almost here, it's almost here. And then when it's finally there, I can just stand outside all night long. But this was supposed to be about this book. Here, let me read to you a little bit of this book. A helping hand. This moon is a powerful aid to your magic, and where relevant, each spell suggests at which phase in the lunar cycle your spell will be strongest. As a general rule, a waxing moon, when the moon is progressing towards its full illumination, will help attract something to you. A waning moon, when the moon's illumination is decreasing after a full moon, will repel. I wish I had read this book a little bit more closely and looked at the art a little bit less. That's something I could definitely have used coming towards Lunar New Year. You know, it's still Lunar New Year right now, depending on what country you're in. So many countries across Asia have their own Lunar New Year, meaning they celebrate Lunar New Year at slightly different times. It usually lasts for around 2 weeks. Do you guys celebrate Lunar New Year? You have to tell me one day. I have to see your whole comment here now. Yay! Oh, look at what he wrote. The moon. Yeah, you follow it totally. I'm glad. You check the moon and see the answer. It's like breakfast. That's so good. If you guys haven't seen him already, Hans has his own channel, but he also films for oh my god, she's been my close friend for 7 years, and I was about to call her something else. Lynn Kimberly. He also films for Lynn, his fiance, and she owns oh my god, I just got so excited. I'm forgetting all things right now. Oh my god. Um uh, Dreaming of Plants of Avalon. Plants of Avalon, sorry. Not Dreaming of Plants of Avalon. Plants of Avalon. And yeah, he is really, really cool. He is a very cool guy. You guys should go check out his channel. And I'll save one of his. Oh, Oh, I'm so glad. I love her so much too. I've always looked up to her. I've always thought she was amazing. And she opened up to me a couple of years ago about some different things. And I always thought that there was something wrong with me. And then I realized after talking to her that some people are just, it, they're more sensitive to, when people are unkind, they're because it means more to them. Some people take things seriously and are very genuine, and that's me. And I've always had a certain level of sadness because I'll take something really hard. But after talking to her, I realized there wasn't anything wrong about that. It's just not being exactly like everybody else. It's actually one of these things that this book is really good for people that are a little left of center because they never say at some point that you absolutely have to become a religion. They just they just share something with you, and then it's up to you to choose to go with it or be guided by it or not. And that's what I hope that I can do for other people too. And I just realized some people are going to be so uncomfortable with it, even though if they were to take the time to look at it, it's all very peaceful. It's all very happy. It's all very good. One of the tenets is do what ye will, harm none. That's something that many people have heard, and it's a kind of condensed version. But it's true. You can't complete any of these spells or rituals. Even like for instance, they explain where some of our not spells, our rituals in our different cultures come from, like blowing out the candles on the birthday cake, which I hope most people know about now, or clinking glasses, carrying your wife over the threshold. You'll do that soon, or right? You'll do that soon, or the throwing of the rice, or so many other things. I know in some cultures they'll dust certain areas of a room at sundown, things like that, because they actually come from something else. And all these rituals, it's important to remember, they're 1/10 superstition that's usually cultural centric, and then they're 9/10 practicality. And some of that practicality is specific to that time period, and so therefore changes can be made now. And some of it's just practical in general. Like in feng shui, for instance, you would never hang a big, heavy chandelier or a pointed light fixture right over the head of your bed because that would be hanging a shar right over your head. No one needs that. But yeah, it's just such a great book. It's a feel good, it's a positive thing. And it's something that I'm really glad that I was able to talk about with you, Hans. you know, the reason why I did this afterwards is because I was thinking, whoever watches this is going to think, man, this woman is so lame to be so excited. But, you know, it's really true. I've felt like I really cannot share and be honest and be genuine. And most of the time, most people that know me think that I'm silent or very quiet until I get really passionate about something and I'm defending somebody, or there are certain things that are pet peeves for me, like absolute saying all French people are like this, or all Chinese people are like that, or all women are like this, or all men are like that. That gets me so mad so fast. I'll start talking. But for the most part, they think that I'm quiet. The fact is, you've seen it now, Hans. I'm not quiet. It's just that, sometimes it's okay to be quiet if you're in your peace, but most of the time, I'd say that I was up until now. I'm going to keep on the path and keep doing this exercise. But most of the time, I've been in my sad, not in my peace. And I'm going to do everything that needs doing to get out of that because that's a habit. Sometimes sad can be habitual as well. What do you write? On my birthday, I light a candle for my mother who fights for me. That's so great. I love that. I should start doing that for my mom too. That's actually something that I used to do quite a lot of, candle magic. It's very special. It's not as simple as lighting a candle on a birthday cake most of the time, but it's so special because it really truly means something when you do. When you light something on your birthday cake and you blow it out, it really means something to you. Well, it really meant something to me, you coming. I know that the recording ends now because it's at 20 minutes. I think it's ended now. But anyways, I love all you guys, and thank you so much, Hans, for coming and for watching. And I think you were telling me that probably Lynn said love you, and tell her that I love her too. And I love you too, only even though I only just met you too, Hans. And thank you anybody else who watches this video one day. Bye, guys. Be blessed. Do as you will. Bye. End.